Hey guys, it's Tim. I just wanted to give you guys a quick run through on a couple of these tools that we have. I know we have some tutorial videos up on the page, but they have the old site on there, so I did just kind of want to update them with the new site, the new control tower, and show you basically what can be done with them. So we're going to start off with the matchup page, and of course you get to it by going NBA matchups, and you can click on whichever matchup you choose. So we'll just do New Orleans and Detroit for tonight since it's the first game. So this box here shows New Orleans total, implied total 113, Detroit's implied total 112, and the total over under for the game. Now sometimes this data might not be available this early in the day. If games are waiting on injury news and things like that, some implied totals might not be set yet by the books. But anyways, that's what that is. And if you want to come down to the actual matchup section, we can look at, so we're looking at the New Orleans Pelicans right here. So they would obviously be under the team. So these are all New Orleans stats right here. So how we read this is, say we're looking at blocks. So New Orleans is 13th in the NBA in blocks with 5.05 a game. Their opponents allow 5.75 blocks per game, 27th in the league. So kind of how you would read that is Detroit. Detroit's allowing their opponents 5.7 blocks a game. And Detroit would rank the fourth most blocks allowed in the league. So that would be a positive matchup for New Orleans. Over here, we show you the team leader in blocks, so it's Jackson Hayes at 1.2 blocks a game. Now, Hayes kind of gets some spotty playing time, so we do list the team leader, but it's not necessarily always the best guy to play, so to speak. It might show some non-regulars on here, so if I'm looking at blocks, I say, geez, how do I want to exploit that matchup? Because we see that Detroit's allowing their opponents a lot of blocks a game. Fourth most in the league. So I go down here and I click on season to give all the season percentages. I'll come over to block percentage, sort by that. We see Jackson Hayes has the highest block percentage on the team, followed by Favors, and then Ingram as far as regulars. Okafor, he doesn't really play. So if I'm looking at this and I want to try to exploit blocks, it would be Hayes, Favors, and Ingram for me. Two and above on block percentage is actually a pretty good number, so that's what I would be looking for, as well as who the team leader is. Because, like I said, it might not always be the actual true regular playing time team leader. Another example of that is paint points. So people say, oh, wow, Detroit's got Andre Drummond. They must be good around the basket. They must not allow a lot of paint points. Well, actually, you'd be surprised. Detroit is allowing their opponents 51 paint points per game, 25th. So, like I said, if you want to kind of translate that, they're allowing the fifth most points per game in the paint. The team leader on the Pelicans is Jrue Holiday with over 10 paint points a game. Now, again, Jrue might be out tonight with injury, so we rack our brains to figure, all right, well, who would be the next best guy to exploit that? Would probably be Brandon Ingram, the power forward for the Pelicans. So I'm gonna put down Brandon Ingram in my player pool, just like I'm gonna put down Hayes and Favors if he plays. So that's kind of how I look at the matchup tool. I'll go through each matchup and I'll look at the teams that are allowing probably from like 20 on down to 30, because that would mean that they're the bottom third in the league in that particular stat allowed. So they're allowing the third highest 3-point percentage, 37%. They're allowing the fourth most blocks, 5.75. They're allowing the fifth most paint points, 51. And then they allow a lot of steals, too. They allow 8.3 steals a game, which is also fourth most in the league. So I'm going to write those down on a piece of paper as I go through each matchup. And then I'm going to write down the player that I can possibly exploit that with. So then I'll come down here, and we have some tabs you can click through. I'm on season right now. It's how I look at usage percentage. So if I see that Detroit is terrible and New Orleans has a pretty high implied total, I want to see, all right, well, who's the best Pelican to use? I sort by usage rate. I see that Brandon Ingram leads the team with a 29% usage. That's pretty good. I'm gonna write him down even if he wasn't in any categories here, because I have to include in my pool the highest usage guy on one of the highest implied teams of the night. So I'm gonna write down Ingram. I'm gonna write down Holiday if he plays. After that, like I said, there's some guys that I'll include in my pool just based on peripherals, like Favors, like Hayes. They have high rebound percentages. They have high block percentages. So I'll go through and sort, see who has the highest percentages on the team. Favors 30% defensive rebound percentage. It's you can't beat that, as well as like I said, Detroit gives up a lot of blocks. So that tells me if Favors plays tonight, I know he's a game time decision. If Favors plays and he's not on a minute limit, he's in a really good spot. So like I said, that's just part of the way you can use the matchups. Go through each game, see which weaknesses you can exploit. If they're at the top of the league in something, I will avoid that. So Detroit is fourth best rebounding team. They allow the fourth least rebounds to their opponents. So that might be a little bit of a turnoff for me. So if you put Favors in your pool, just make note that Detroit's a really good rebounding team. That might be a knock against them. All right, so that's just a quick little 5-minute tutorial on how I use this particular matchup page. If you have any questions, give the page, tag me, Lenny, Rob, anyone, and we'll gladly help you out. Walk you through anything that you need help with, answer any questions, and thanks for watching, guys.